I want to show you something that completely changed the way I think about building wealth. It is a simple calculation most people never do, and the answer explains why some people escape poverty while others stay stuck no matter how much they earn. Take your yearly savings and divide it by 365. That gives you the amount you are paying your future self each day. For many people, even people with good incomes, that number is anywhere from $0 to $20, and for a lot of people, it is actually zero or even negative. Now compare that with the richest person you personally know, not a celebrity, but someone real that you have actually met. Figure out their daily savings rate during the years when they were building their money. It is probably somewhere between $100 and $500 a day. That difference explains almost everything about financial outcomes. It is not just intelligence, luck, or connections. It is the daily amount being sent into your future account that decides where you end up. What makes this so powerful is that looking at money this way changes your psychology completely. Saving $36,500 in a year sounds impossible to most people, but saving $100 a day sounds hard yet still possible. It is the same total, but one feels absurd and the other feels manageable. This video is about rebuilding your financial life around daily actions instead of monthly budgets that get ignored and yearly goals that vanish by February. Daily systems keep working whether you feel motivated or not, whether life is easy or difficult, whether the economy is strong or weak. By the time we are done, you will have a practical daily routine that makes staying poor much harder, not because of raw discipline, but because the system itself keeps creating results automatically. Let me walk through it step by step. The whole thing starts with something I call the morning money minute. This one habit takes less than a minute, but it can create more real progress than hours of monthly budgeting ever will. Here is how it works. Every morning before you check email or social media, open your main financial app and look at 3 numbers only: your checking balance, your total debt, your investment balance. Do not analyze, do not build a plan, do not stress yourself out, just look. It sounds almost too simple to matter, but the impact is huge because of how human psychology works. When you check something every day, your brain treats it as important. Money numbers that are only reviewed once a month feel distant and abstract. Money numbers that are seen daily feel real and immediate. Even when you are not consciously thinking about them, your subconscious starts adjusting your decisions around them. The timing matters too, because seeing your numbers first thing in the morning shapes the rest of your day. If you just looked at your debt, the random lunch purchase suddenly feels different. If you just looked at your investment balance, choosing to pack lunch instead of buying it connects to something bigger and more concrete. That daily glance builds a line between small choices and long-term results. I have seen people transform their finances with this habit alone, not because staring at numbers magically creates money, but because regular awareness changes daily behavior. The person who checks their money every morning makes different choices from the person who avoids looking until there is no choice left. Avoidance is incredibly common among people who are struggling financially. They do not want to face the numbers because the numbers feel stressful. But avoiding the numbers is exactly what allows the bad habits to keep growing. Debt gets bigger, savings stay flat, stress rises, avoidance gets worse. The morning money minute breaks that cycle by making financial awareness normal. After a few weeks, the numbers stop feeling emotionally loaded. They become information instead of judgment, and that calm makes better decisions possible all day long. Start tomorrow morning. 60 seconds, 3 numbers, no analysis required, just look. The second daily habit is what I call 24-hour wealth capture, and this is the part where money actually starts being created. Most people never think about this, but money moves through your life every single day. It comes in through paychecks, side income, refunds, cashback, and unexpected windfalls. It leaves through bills, subscriptions, expenses, and impulse buying. Most people let that flow happen passively and just save whatever happens to be left at the end of the month. The 24-hour wealth capture flips that around. Instead of saving what is left over, you move money into wealth first, before spending has a chance to eat it. The setup is simple. Create a separate savings or investment account that you do not use for daily expenses, Then set an automatic daily transfer from your checking account into that account. The amount can be tiny at first, even $5 or $10. Consistency matters far more than size at the beginning. The psychology here is important. A monthly transfer of $300 feels like a big event. It causes a visible drop in your checking balance, triggers loss aversion, and often gets skipped when money feels tight. But a daily transfer of $10 feels so small that it barely registers. Your checking balance hardly moves. There is no big emotional reaction, so the transfer happens automatically without resistance. Yet by the end of the month, you have still captured the same $300. The daily version also smooths out income swings. If you are paid every 2 weeks, a monthly transfer can hit when your balance is low. Daily transfers spread the saving across your whole pay cycle, which reduces the risk of any single transfer causing a problem. And the effect goes beyond the money itself. Each successful transfer reinforces your identity as someone who builds wealth. After 30 days, you have made 30 deposits into your future. After a year, you have made 365. The habit stops feeling like something you are trying to do and starts feeling like part of who you are. Start with whatever amount feels completely painless. $5 a day is $1,825 a year. $10 a day is $3,650. $20 a day is $7,300. Those numbers may seem small until you remember that many Americans save nothing or even negative amounts in a year. Any positive daily capture puts you ahead of the majority. As your income rises or your expenses fall, increase the amount. Someone who begins with $10 a day and raises it by just $2 every 6 months will be capturing more than $30 a day within 5 years. That becomes nearly $10,000 a year automatically without monthly budgeting battles or willpower fights. The third daily habit handles the spending side through something I call the sunset spending review. Every evening, spend 2 minutes looking back at what you spent that day. Not to shame yourself and not to feel guilty, just to observe and categorize. Open your banking app or card app, look at today's transactions, and mentally label each one as either intentional or reactive. Intentional spending was planned or truly necessary. Reactive spending happened impulsively or emotionally. This daily review does something a monthly budget cannot do. It captures the emotional context while it is still fresh. When you review a whole month later, you cannot remember why you bought most things. When you review the day itself, you remember exactly what you were feeling when each purchase happened. Within a week or two, patterns become obvious. Maybe you spend reactively when work stresses you out. Maybe you spend when you are bored in the evening. Maybe social media sends you into shopping mode. The trigger reveals itself through daily observation. Once you know your trigger, you can deal with it directly. If stress causes the spending, you can build other ways to handle stress. If boredom causes it, you can change your environment to reduce that boredom. If social media causes it, you can change how much of it you consume. Monthly budgets try to control spending with rules and self-control, but daily reviews handle spending through awareness and pattern recognition. That is much more sustainable because it works with human psychology instead of against it. The sunset review should take no more than 2 minutes. Scroll through today's transactions. Notice which were intentional and which were reactive. Look for patterns. That is all. Keeping it short is what makes it survive busy days and stressful periods. The fourth daily habit might sound strange in a video about wealth, but it is one of the best investments you can make. Spend at least 15 minutes every day learning something that raises your earning power. That might mean reading about your industry, building a technical skill, learning negotiation or communication, studying business models, or deepening your expertise. The link between daily learning and wealth is indirect, but it is powerful. Your income reflects the market value of your skills, your knowledge, and your network. Improve any of those and you raise your income potential. 15 minutes a day adds up to more than 90 hours a year of skill building. Think about 2 people who start in similar jobs at age 25. One spends all their off hours on entertainment. The other spends just 15 minutes a day on deliberate skill growth. After 10 years, the first person has basically the same skill set they started with, maybe even a little less sharp. The second person has accumulated more than 900 hours of development. Their income paths begin to separate dramatically. The daily learner gets promoted faster, negotiates better, adapts more easily, and develops capabilities that can lead to multiple income streams. The non-learner stagnates, becomes easier to replace, and slowly sees their value decline. The 15-minute rule works because it is short enough to fit into almost any schedule, long enough to create real progress, and consistent enough to compound over the years. What you learn matters less than the fact that you keep learning. Someone who reads about leadership for 15 minutes a day becomes more promotable. Someone who learns sales for 15 minutes a day becomes more valuable. Someone who studies their industry for 15 minutes a day notices opportunities other people miss. Make those 15 minutes non-negotiable. Morning before work, lunch break, or evening before bed. Pick one slot and defend it. The returns from daily learning beat almost any other investment you can make. The fifth daily habit ties everything together with a short evening planning routine I call tomorrow optimization. Before bed, spend 3 minutes planning how you will handle money tomorrow. Identify any spending decisions you will face. Anticipate any triggers that might push you into reactive spending. Set a clear intention for your wealth capture and your discretionary choices. This uses a psychological idea called implementation intention. Research consistently shows that people are far more likely to follow through when they specify when, where, and how they will do a behavior, rather than just vaguely intending to do it. Vague intention sounds like, I will save money tomorrow. Implementation intention sounds like, tomorrow I will bring lunch from home, skip the afternoon coffee run, and move my daily transfer before checking email. Specificity turns an abstract goal into a real plan. Your brain already knows what to do when tomorrow shows up. Decision fatigue goes down because the decisions were made the night before. Tomorrow optimization should also decide what you will study during your 15-minute learning block. Choosing that ahead of time removes the friction that often turns into entertainment instead. 3 minutes of evening planning can save hours of indecision and prevent hundreds of dollars in reactive spending over the course of a month. The leverage on that tiny time investment is massive. Now let me show you how these 5 habits work together as one complete wealth building system. Your morning begins with the Money Minute, which gives you 60 seconds of awareness around your 3 key numbers. That primes you for the day financially. Your wealth capture transfer happens automatically, but the morning check reinforces why it matters. You see your future account growing a little more each day. During the day, that awareness shapes your choices. Lunch decisions, impulse temptations, upgrade offers, every one of them gets filtered through the numbers you saw that morning. Your 15-minute learning block happens whenever you set it, because the exact timing matters less than the consistency. The knowledge keeps accumulating no matter what the lesson of the day is. In the evening, you do the sunset spending review. 2 minutes looking over today's transactions, noticing patterns, and understanding what was intentional versus reactive. That closes the loop on the day's spending and helps future decisions. Finally, tomorrow optimization plans the next day's financial behavior. 3 minutes of specific planning that makes tomorrow more likely to go well. Add it all up, and the total is about 23 minutes a day, roughly 140 hours a year. That is a small annual time investment for a return that can completely change your life. Here is why this daily approach works better than the strategies most people try. Monthly budgeting fails because the feedback loop is too long. You make decisions all month and then review them at the end, but by then you have forgotten why half of those decisions happened. The link between action and outcome gets blurry, and the budget starts to feel like a report card instead of a tool. Annual planning fails because life changes faster than one-year cycles. The goals you set in January may not mean anything by March. The motivation you had while planning fades quickly, and the document ends up in a drawer while real life keeps moving. Daily habits work because they create tight feedback loops and constant adjustment. Each day connects to the one before and the one after. The system can correct itself because you are observing and adjusting continuously instead of waiting for monthly or yearly reviews. Daily habits also survive disruption better. If something interrupts your monthly review, you might skip it for months. If something interrupts a daily habit, you miss one day and restart the next. No single day becomes too important. That makes the system resilient. Daily habits also become more psychologically sustainable because repetition makes them automatic. They stop feeling like effort and start feeling normal. They keep going even when motivation drops because they are built into your routine. Here is how to implement them without overwhelming yourself. Week 1, do only the morning money minute. Just 60 seconds every morning checking your 3 numbers. Nothing else. Get that habit stable until it feels automatic. Week 2, add the daily wealth capture transfer. Set up automatic transfers of whatever amount feels painless and keep doing the morning check. Week 3, add the sunset spending review. 2 minutes at night looking at the day's transactions. Continue the first 2 habits. Week 4, add the 15-minute learning block. Pick a time and protect it. Keep doing everything else. Week 5, add tomorrow optimization. 3 minutes of evening planning. Now all 5 habits are operating together. This staggered approach prevents the common mistake of trying to change everything at once. Each habit gets time to stick before the next one is added. By week 5, you have a complete daily wealth building system that required very little willpower to create. Some people want to speed this up, but that usually leads to quitting by week 3. Slow and steady is actually faster in the long run because habits that survive beat habits that sound good but fail. Let me show you the math of what these habits can produce over time. Suppose you begin with a modest daily capture of $15. That is $5,475 in the first year. If that money earns 7% on average, it grows to about $5,850 by the end of year 1. By year 5, you have captured $27,375 and grown it to around $34,000 with returns. By year 10, you have captured $54,750 and grown it to roughly $82,000. By year 20, you have captured $109,500 and grown it to about $240,000. Now imagine your daily capture rises as your income rises. If you start at $15 and raise it by $5 each year, by year 8 you are capturing $50 a day, and over 20 years the total can exceed $400,000. That is without an inheritance, without a lottery win, without some miracle business exit, just consistent daily capture and reasonable returns. A boring habit creates extraordinary results. The learning habit compounds separately and just as powerfully. 15 minutes a day for 20 years is over 1,800 hours of skill development, roughly like getting an entire extra year of education spread across your career. That growth could easily double the financial numbers above. On top of that, daily spending awareness saves money that compounds too. If the sunset review and tomorrow optimization prevent only $10 of reactive spending a day, that is another $3,650 a year that can go into wealth capture. Over 20 years, that alone could be worth more than $150,000 in extra wealth. Put all the streams together, and the system can realistically create $500,000 to $1 million over 20 years for someone starting with an average income. The daily frame makes it doable because each day feels manageable even when the full 20-year total seems huge. Beyond the numbers, something deeper changes. People who live this way start to see themselves as wealth builders. That identity matters more than any individual trick because identity drives behavior automatically. When someone sees themselves as a wealth builder, spending gets easier to evaluate. The question changes from "can I afford this" to "does this fit who I am?" Frugality starts to feel natural instead of restrictive. Investing feels exciting instead of like delayed gratification. Progress feels inevitable instead of merely hoped for. That identity comes from daily action. The morning money minute reinforces it. The wealth capture transfer confirms it. The sunset review strengthens it. The learning block develops it. The tomorrow optimization expresses it. After 100 days, you are no longer someone trying to build wealth. You are someone who builds wealth. That sounds small, but it changes everything. People with that identity do not need motivation to continue. They do not struggle to stay consistent. They do not abandon the habits when life gets hard. The habits are simply an expression of who they are. Let me also say why this moment in 2026 is such a unique opportunity for this approach. Technology has removed nearly all the friction from the habits I just described. Transfers happen instantly. Banking apps show balances in seconds. Learning resources are everywhere and often free. Calendar apps can remind you without any effort. 20 years ago, this would have taken manual bank trips, paper tracking, library visits, and physical planners. That friction would have made daily consistency much harder. Today, the only real obstacle is psychological. The habits themselves take less than half an hour total. The actual execution requires almost no effort. The only question is whether you choose to do it. That makes the daily approach more powerful than it has ever been. Someone using these habits in 2026 has tools previous generations simply did not have. The returns are the same, but capturing them is much easier. Economic uncertainty makes this even more important. Inflation worries, market volatility, job market shifts, artificial intelligence, all of it makes the future feel less predictable than before. Daily habits provide resilience in a way annual plans cannot. A person with strong daily wealth habits can adapt to changing circumstances automatically. Their system keeps working no matter what happens in markets, politics, or technology. Annual plans get outdated when assumptions fail. Monthly budgets get irrelevant when life changes. Daily habits stay useful because they respond to current reality instead of relying on some future certainty. The person who builds wealth daily in 2026 will be better prepared for whatever 2027 through 2046 bring because they will have both resources and habits already in place. Here is what I want you to do right now. Do not wait until tomorrow. Do not tell yourself Monday will be the start. In the next 60 seconds, take one action that commits you to beginning. Set an alarm for tomorrow morning and label it Money Minute. That is it, one alarm, 10 seconds of effort, no cost, but that tiny action creates commitment. Tomorrow morning, when it goes off, you will remember this system and you will do the first Money Minute. The chain reaction begins there. Most people who hear this will do nothing. They will think it is interesting, maybe even useful, and then go right back to their old patterns. A year from now, they will be in roughly the same place financially. A smaller group will set the alarm. They will start the Money Minute tomorrow. They will layer on the other habits over the next few weeks. A year from now, they will have saved thousands and started to see themselves differently. 5 years later, the gap between them and the people who did nothing will be enormous. These habits are not complicated. They are not secret. They are not reserved for people with special advantages. They are available to anybody willing to spend 23 minutes a day on their financial future. The real question is whether you will be in the group that acts or the group that says someday. Someday is a trap. Someday never arrives. Wealth is built by people who start today, then do it again tomorrow, and again the day after that. 23 minutes a day, 5 simple habits. Compound results that make staying poor genuinely difficult. The system is in your hands now, and what happens next is up to you. Next is up to you.